Greetings, beautiful earthlings. It is I, Christina, here at Fit and Bendy. This is a lovely little cool down routine that you can do to keep your mobility after a heavy leg workout like running or squats or weightlifting. And it is using dynamic flexibility on the major muscle groups, hamstrings, glutes, hip flexors, calves, in order to keep those areas mobilized and prevent soreness that comes after a big workout. So all you need is a table and low bench. And if you like it, please remember to like and subscribe because I got these tidbits coming out every week and you don't want to miss anything. All right, let's get going. So find your bench or block or whatever you got. The height is going to depend on your flexibility and your height. So just find something that works for you. And we're going to start with our hamstrings. So you're going to put your foot up on the block in front of you, and you want it to be a height where you can be kind of relaxed in this position. So if it's so high that you're finding yourself scrunched and your standing leg is bending, too high for you. Better to have it be too low than too high. And I call this exercise drinking bird because it's like those little birds that go burp, burp, and they drink out of a little cup of water. That's kind of what we're doing. Keeping this hip down and relaxed and your back straight, you're just going to come forward until you start to feel that stretch, that lengthening through the back of the leg, and then you're going to squeeze that muscle to bring yourself back up. And we're going to repeat. And every time you want to think about going a little bit deeper, I'm doing my best to keep my back straight. It is going to round just a little bit as you come forward, and that's normal, but I'm really trying to think about sticking my butt out so I'm not rounding down with my back in that forward fold. And that's going to put most of the work into the hamstring here. And I'm loading this hamstring. I'm using the hamstring to take my weight as I go forward, and I am contracting the hamstring to bring myself back up, a little bit like if you've tried to do a deadlift, you're lifting your body using the back of your leg. And let's just do a couple more here. And if you just did a pretty heavy workout and those hamstrings are sore, the first couple might feel like total crap, but then as you loosen up, you can start to go a little bit deeper, get a little bit more range. And then we're going to stop in the forward position. Now, whatever that forward position means for you. So it might be here, might be further down, wherever it is for you. See if you can get your hands down to the block. If not, you can put them on your knee here. That's also totally fine. And you're going to use those muscles in the back of your knee to pull that knee into a flexed position. Doesn't have to be fully flexed. And then extend it back out. And I'm putting my weight forward into the foot the whole time. So I'm not just trying to relax into the stretch here. I am using this muscle as I lengthen it. And that's going to be really good for trying to get the muscle to relax a little bit more. Sometimes when we try to relax into a stretch, especially after a big workout where that muscle is just pumped up, it's like, what are you doing? And it doesn't want to relax for you. So this is going to give it a little bit more to do that it's going to be able to understand. Let's do one more of these bend and straightens. And only after all of that work do we get a moment or two of just allowing the body to sink down into that hamstring stretch. And this is where we do get a little bit of that passive static stretching. And you can rotate that leg side to side. I'm almost never completely still in a stretch. I'm almost always trying to find some little bit of moving the hips back and forth, sticking out the butt, trying to relax down a little bit further. And then we do the other side. Right foot goes down, left foot goes up, and relax that left hip down, and let's drinking bird. So I'm going to stick out my butt, bring my body forward. And that first one might not go super far, and that's totally fine because we have time. I have a hair stuck to my foot. As we go through more reps, start to get a little bit deeper. And again, I'm trying to keep the back nice and straight and feel this left leg working, pressing down into the block. If you want, you can put your hands on this leg if that's helpful for you, but you don't want to use your arms to bring yourself back up. You really want to pull yourself back up using the muscles in the back of your leg. Let's do 2 more like this. Thinking happy thoughts about our left hamstrings. And then go ahead and bring yourself to that forward position, whatever that forward position is for you. And we're going to pull with the back of the leg and extend it back out. And feel those muscles in the back of the knee working. Might feel a little bit of work through the calf. If you stick out your butt more, you can start to feel the work coming all the way up the back of the thigh. And it's definitely a muscular movement, right? I am not relaxed here. I'm not just letting gravity do this. I am creating a dynamic stretch by using those hamstrings. Let's do 2 more. And then special treat at the end is the static stretch, which at this point your body is much more willing to accept thanks to the dynamic work. And then you can just kind of relax down, take a breath. Yay. Feel that release in the back of the leg. And if you want, you can rotate that leg back and forth. That rotation's coming from the hip socket. And you can feel how as the leg rotates, it changes where you feel the stretch. And you can stick out your butt and round it under a couple times as you wiggle down. You can wiggle your butt back and forth. It's really just about like finding those little movements that feel good to your body that help you relax and get a little deeper into the stretch. All right, one more breath. And come on out. Shake it out. Hamstrings, now hip flexors. So we also want to be able to use our hip flexors as we're stretching them. So we're going to put our foot up on the block back behind us. And this looks an awful lot like, a squat strength exercise, but we're going to change it by really working on keeping our weight in the back leg instead of working to strengthen the front leg. And I'm going to drop down until I start to feel the stretch through the front of this hip. And then I'm going to squeeze that hip to try to lift myself back up. Now, depending on the height of your block, the height of your body, and your flexibility, you might want to be slightly leaning forward here, because what you don't want is for your leg to be up so far behind you that you're in a back bend, right? I'm still trying to keep my length through my spine here so that as I go down, I'm not allowing my butt to come back and my back to arch. That's going to help me miss the stretch that I want to get. So I'm really working on tucking the pelvis under so that the stretch happens through the quad and the hip, and then squeezing that quad. I'm trying to straighten my leg and bring my knee forward to bring myself back up. And it's kind of a nice feeling here. And I do feel some amount of work in that front leg, but I'm really trying to almost lean that weight back into the back leg in order to focus my work there. Let's do 3 more. Maybe going down a little bit further now. And 2. And press up. And on this last one, we're just going to hang out down here for a little bit. Bring the body back. Just get that deep stretch. Now I'm going to hang on that back leg a little bit. And that's giving me a really deep stretch through the front of that quad and hip. Compress your butt back to the heel a little bit to get even deeper into the quad. And let's switch sides. Oh, that felt great. All right, right side. And if I were trying to do this to strengthen my front leg, I'd put my front leg a lot farther forward. But for our purposes, we really want to be able to get the weight back. And that's going to help us focus on the work of the back leg instead. And maybe notice a difference right to left. My right hip is notoriously tighter than my left hip. Always has been. So just notice it. Always use a little extra attention on the right side. You might have the same thing. You might need it on your left side. This is just my regular reminder, as I do in every video, that we are lopsided creatures, so we should do lopsided training. Focus our attention where it's needed most. You might notice you're starting to sink a little bit deeper now, opening up the front of that hip a little more, working on keeping it out of your lower back. So abs have to work here to make that happen. Let's do 3 more. And 2. And on this last one, we're just going to hang out, flexing the foot, sinking the knee down, getting that nice deep stretch. But the muscle isn't fully relaxed, right? Because I'm using it to hold myself up in part. But it's lengthening as it's working. And this is the really beautiful way that dynamic stretching can help us increase our flexibility and our strength at the same time. All right, shake it out. I like to shake out in the goofiest, dorkiest way possible because it makes me happy. Left side, glute. So we have a few options for this. Now, if you are comfortable in this fully turned out position with a foot like this is one option, right? Where I have my shin completely flat out in front of my body on the bench. If that's like not happening for you, you can come back a little bit further and be here. And then there's going to be a little bit more weight in this back leg. And I'm going to show you both versions. So the full sort of pigeon stretch version, I'm going to be here. My body is upright. And I am going to sink down and press back up. Now, sure, I could be doing all the work with my back leg. Absolutely good. But that would be not a flexibility exercise. What I want instead is that I'm putting my weight a little bit forward and I'm using this left butt to lift myself back up. That left butt is doing a ton of work here. And another option for those of you who find that this as a starting position isn't great, you can fold up a towel or put a yoga block underneath your knee so your knee is a little bit more here, and that can get you into this position even if your hip doesn't fully externally rotate like this. We're going to do a couple more like this. And 2. And on this next one, we're going to hang out here at the bottom, little lean forward. This is our passive stretch, but I'm still holding my weight. So I've got a little weight in my hands, but not a ton. I am using this butt, and it is talking to me right now. And I can gradually sink deeper and deeper into the stretch, bringing my body forward, my weight forward, hands off, hold here for 3, 2, 1, and back up. Now, the other version of this is to be a little bit further out. So now just my foot is down. So whatever level of turnout you have in this front leg is whatever level of turnout you have, and it all works. And I'm just going to take my hands to the inside of that leg, flat spine. I'm going to lean forward over that leg, pressing this foot down into the block. Keep pressing that foot down and come back up. And it's really working the same muscle group. It's a slightly different position, slightly different emphasis, but you don't have to have like crazy hip turnout to get it to work. You also don't need to go this far forward. You can do the whole thing right up here. And you should be able to feel this glute muscle, again, controlling your descent, just like with drinking bird. I call this drinking pigeon. Sorry. My butt is controlling me on the way down, and it's lifting me on the way back up. And we're going to do one more, and on this last one, you can just hang out in this position, pressing your foot down. If you have ankle issues, make sure that your foot isn't turning in and you're not putting a lot of pressure on that ankle. I'm going to hang out here, stick out the butt, feel that lovely stretch through the butt. Switch sides. Oh, getting a little sweaty. Other side. I did say this was a cool down, didn't I? Yeah, kind of lied a little bit. All right, so here we are, parallel on this side. We're going to do both versions again. Again, feel free to put something underneath this knee if you want to lift it up, and keeping the body vertical, lowering down, right butt lifting me back up. And There is some work happening in that back leg, yes, but I'm emphasizing this front leg. I'm trying to bring my weight into the working leg so that that leg has to continue working even as I stretch the butt. Let's do 4 more. And 3. A little deeper every time. And 2. And on this last one, go ahead and stop at the bottom. We're going to bring the body forward. So slightly more passive here. Still working though. Got my weight in that leg. I can try to bring that right butt back, sink it down a little bit deeper. Hands can be down, they can be up, but if your hands are down, just light weight in the arms. Make that butt do the work. And let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoo! Leg shaking. Feels good. Same thing, other version. So I have my right leg turned out. And again, be careful of that ankle. You want to be pressing the blade of that foot down to make sure you're not putting too much pressure on the ankle. And we are going to lean forward, controlling it from the back of that right leg and pressing back up. Trying to keep a flat back. Fun to notice the difference right to left, right? This side is a lot harder for me. So if I were just doing this on my own, I would just spend a little bit more time on this right side. So you notice what side feels like it needs more work for you. All right, let's do 3 more of these. And then we're going to get that little special treat, passive stretch at the end. I say passive stretching is a special treat because that's how it feels for my body. You might be like, static stretching. So that's okay. You're going to do it with me anyway. All right, let's go forward. Bring the hands down, press that leg down. Just get that nice deep stretch. And again, you can find a little bit of movement here. Think about trying to kiss your ankle bone. All right, only one more muscle group to go, calves. This is one of my favorite calf stretches because it takes the hamstrings out of it completely and it works really just on the ankle. So we're going to switch back to the left side. Left foot is up, looks kind of like a lunge, but it's not. And I'm going to put my heel right up to the edge here and I'm going to send my knee forward over my toes as far as I can, leaning forward into that, and then pressing the ball of the foot down to come back. So I'm really using my foot and my ankle to control this movement. Now, if this hurts your knees because of this deep, deep knee flexion, please look out for that. Maybe don't go as far, or maybe this isn't a great exercise for you. If you have knee problems, this one can potentially be a little bit sketchy. But if you can get it to work without pain, it's actually really good for your knees, especially because when you get more ability to flex your ankle and more mobility in your calf, that can really help the knee joint. Now we can increase the work here by going so far forward that our heel actually starts to lift up a little bit off the block. And now I'm almost in like a crouch position coming forward, and then I'm going to press that heel back down, deep, deep, deep ankle flexion, and come back. Now, if you feel this more in the front of your ankle than a stretch in the back, that's normal. Don't worry about it. The more you do it, you'll probably change the way that you feel it, but it's normal to feel this as compression in the front rather than stretch in the back, and both things are normal, valid, and fantastic. Let's do 2 more of these, where we actually lift the heel up, come forward, press the heel down, push the ball of the foot down to come back. And on this last one, we're just going to stop here in the forward position. So I'm coming so far forward that my heel's coming up just a little bit. Then I'm trying to press it back down as I hang out. And I'm putting a little bit of weight on it to press into that ankle and get that deep stretch in the calf. And you can do a little bonus thing here. It's going to be hard for you to see because this mat is a little squishy, but I'm actually trying to pick my toes up off the mat. They're not going very far, but I am now squeezing the whole top of my foot and the whole front of my shin to get the maximum amount of stretch through the back part of my calf and my foot. All right. Same thing. Otro lado. Right foot up. And we are going to send that right knee forward. And press the ball of the foot down to come back. And I am putting my weight into the working leg in order to get as much strength and mobility out of this sequence as I possibly can. And I realized that if you just did a long run or did some really heavy leg exercises, that this might feel like a lot. But I promise you that if you save some gas in your tank to do this at the very end, it's going to really reduce the tightness that can come from doing that kind of heavy work. All right, let's lift that heel up just a little bit as you bring it forward. And back you go. I scoot my heel in a little more so I can go a little bit more into this. I'm squeezing my shin muscle, using my feet to bring myself so far forward, then that heel is pressing down, down, down to come back out. Let's do 3 more. A little further every time. And I have kind of a lot of flexion for a normal person, so don't worry if it doesn't come this far forward. Just feel what works best for your body. And especially if you have a history of ankle or foot injuries, you don't want to push into this super far, super fast. If you've got a sprained ankle and you're past, just go nice and easy with it. This can sometimes feel really dicey if you're recovering from a sprained ankle. So just, keep it slow, keep it mellow. It will get easier over time. All right, let's stop in this forward position. Just enjoy that nice deep stretch. Little bit of lift in the heel. Then I try to press the heel back down as I send the knee forward. Deep compression through the front here. Maybe a little bit of stretch through the back. Holding it for 3, 2, 1. Press down to bring the body back. Here we are. Shake those suckers out. See how your legs feel. So hopefully after that, you feel kind of mobile, kind of juicy. So much more effective than what I see at the gym lot, just sitting there and trying to force yourself to relax down those hamstrings. Honestly, it's not the most effective way of stretching after a workout. Try this instead. All right, thank you everybody. For more wonderful mobility ideas, please like and subscribe. I got new stuff coming out every week. I love requests. What do you want to know about? Ask me. Thank you so much for watching. Happy bendings.